Check out the full episode now on soundcloud.com and your favourite podcasting apps. Why don't we move on to another subject?
Let's go for it.
This one is a bit of a heartbreaker. Judas Priest.
Yep.
Glenn Tipton, diagnosed with Parkinson's disease.
Now stepped down from the band. Formal announcement to say that he's getting worse, and to replace him, they brought in Andy Sneap.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I think it'll make for quite an interesting mix with the band, considering his lineage and history and metal in general.
Yep.
Also being quite an influential producer and recording engineer for, well, most metal bands that have been anywhere near the mainstream in the last 15 years.
Yep.
So I think it'll be interesting, but it's a bit of a shame to then see people who are part of history when it comes to rock and metal stepping down and basically being not replaced but superseded.
Yep. I mean, I've heard rumours that AC/DC are looking at doing another album with Hacksaw Rose on vocals. You know, like, I guess the subject is really kind of where is the line? When does a band kind of cease to be the band anymore? When you look at Judas Priest, where is the line where it's no longer Judas Priest? When Richie Faulkner took over from KK? Richie Faulkner's great. One of the best kind of attitude rock players that you're ever going to see. But, yeah, where is the line? Now there's no original guitar player in the band. Is it still Judas Priest? Or is it like a Halford tribute band?
I don't know. It's a hard one to say because I would still consider Megadeth when, for God knows how long,
Yep.
Dave Mustaine's been the only original attribute of the band,
Yep.
the only original member. I know that David Ellison's obviously back now these days as well, but still, you know what I mean, 2/3 of the band, 2/5 of the band even, the original members and everyone else just seems to be hired guns. Still doesn't stop me listening to them and thinking, that's Megadeth.
Mm-hmm.
But you'll probably find that with most bands like that as well, and I think you'll probably be the same with Judas Priest. You'll have people who think certain eras are when the band were the band and
Sure.
everything else is
It's a good way of looking at it.
still like Megadeth or anyone that's had different members, but like a different part of the band or a different, I don't know, I'm struggling to find the word.
You can make the argument that, you know, a guitar player being replaced is difficult for the average music punter to tell the difference with. So also there's that attitude of who is the spirit of the band. Megadeth is
Dave Mustaine. Absolutely.
You know? So you can get rid of anyone but Dave Mustaine and it's still gonna kind of sound like Megadeth.
Yeah.
Whereas there are some bands, so it's a much rarer case where the singer, you can replace the singer and kind of get away with it.
Mm-hmm.
Probably most notably AC/DC.
Well, they did okay from it. That's true. I was thinking even just to go back to Van Halen there, when Sammy Hagar came on board. It wasn't Van Halen, but it still was Van Halen.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean? Like I don't see it as a different band, but it's definitely like a different era to the band.
Yes.
A different, not so much a different sound, because it was still just as rocky, but still ballady as well at the same time. But it didn't have the same attitude as what David Lee Roth brought.
Yep. Oh, that was the point I was going to bring up earlier when I talk about going over to New York to see Van Halen.
Yep.
The reason that had to be done was because it was Eddie Van Halen and David Lee Roth and Alex Van Halen, but no Michael Anthony on bass. So again, I still like a niggling feeling in the back of my mind of, well, have I really seen Van Halen?
I consider that I've seen Guns N' Roses, and it was with DJ Ashba and Ron Thal.
I mean, you're allowed to be wrong, I guess.
Of course. It takes all types to make up the world.
Yeah, that's the point. Another great example, though, right? Because Guns N' Roses, like the many lineups that they've had in the last 15 years or so, I'm more than happy to see that band because you know I love that. But I'm seeing them download with Slash and Axl and Duff, and that feels like a different thing. You know, it feels like something to really be excited about.
Yeah.
And same with Ozzy, actually. You know, I could have seen Ozzy with Gus G many times, but I'm getting the chance to see Ozzy with Zakk Wylde. And as crazy as that sounds, that's a different thing. That's a different thing entirely.
I know what you mean. Again, it's like it's still the same band, but it's different eras of the band, so there's different parts to be excited about.
Yeah.
And there's no doubt there'll be people who are more excited about Randy Rhoads and maybe don't consider Ozzy. I'm not don't consider, but find that was the true Ozzy Osbourne band, or with Jake E. Lee. You don't know. It might be. People have different ideas, but for yourself, obviously it being Zakk Wylde.
Yeah, you have to.
I agree with you. I mean, you can't deny Randy Rhoads and Jake E. Lee as guitarists are phenomenal. Same as Gus G. But Zakk Wylde and Ozzy was just a match made in heaven.
Yeah. But when a band's like at the end of their career, and let's be fair, Judas Priest have been knocking around for a long time. They've
done very well.
They've not got a whole lot. I'd be surprised if they've got another album. Certainly not two.
No offense to them, but when I saw them, watching Rob Halford try to push a motorbike on stage was questionable. And the drum intro to Painkiller that was incredibly uncomfortably forced with crowd interaction. Like played like 3 bars of the drums and stood up as if to get the crowd to cheer, but there was no enthusiasm whatsoever from the stage. Like they just did not give a fuck. It was like, this is the next part of our theatricals.
Sure. Yeah.
Which is a shame.
Yeah, sad when shit like that happens. But I guess that's the question. Like, is it a case of going through the motions? Are Judas Priest going out with Andy Sneap on guitar because they just need to go out and continue as a band? They want to go out and make music, or is it just filling business commitments?
I don't know. It'd be quite hard to. Is it still all passion with them? Because I mean, they're still writing music and trying to record and move on. So I think it'd be hard to say. What do you think?
I can obviously never speak for someone else, but as a fan, it's kind of in my nature to be cynical of shit like that. Same with bands like with Bon Jovi. Bon Jovi without Sambora, you've got Phil X on guitar. Phenomenal player, like considerably better than Richie Sambora as a guitar player.
But the same again attitude we're talking about and like chemistry.
Yeah. Imagine it's like tonight we're going to go out to a club. There's 2 clubs. In this club, Richie Sambora is playing, and in this club, Phil X is playing. Like I'm going to go and see Phil X every time because he's just ridiculous. But with Bon Jovi, is that what I want to see, or do I want to see the original thing?
Do you think that sentiment extends to solo artists who've got live bands that then change members? Because I know that the twice I've seen Joe Satriani, he's pretty much had a different band. That's
actually a really interesting subject because obviously those that know me know that I'm into the jazz, the blues and the country thing. And, I've seen a lot of my favourite fusion guitar players over the years at Ronnie Scott's, and every time they come over, they bring a different band with them. And sometimes that's awesome. Like there have been times where I've seen Mike Stern and he's had Dave Weckl on drums and Tom Kennedy on bass.
Dream lineup.
Yeah, just killer lineups. And there have been other times where I've seen Scott Henderson, for example. I saw Scott Henderson just recently, and I couldn't tell you the name of the guys that he was playing with because I don't remember, because it's not the same as seeing, like I saw Scott Henderson play with Tribal Tech, like not the original Tribal Tech lineup, but the kind of golden era Tribal Tech lineup, the Gary Willis, the Kirk Covington, and that better not be my door. So in the fusion scene, like that's kind of the way things are done. I saw Eric Johnson actually play in, I want to say, Shepherd's Bush Empire, and it wasn't on for me. It sounded like Eric Johnson and the Work Experience band because the guys it might have been the first night of the tour, but the point is they weren't as comfortable as maybe you'd like them.
Yeah, it wasn't gelling. It wasn't like good chemistry
to be, and that's I feel that's really important. If you're going to go see a rock show or a jazz show or whatever, you want it to be a lineup that are comfortable with each other, and really, like how comfortable is Andy Sneap going to be in that setting?
Technicality, I think he'll play it without trying. Attitude and fitting in with the rest of the band, I think it's just going to be a case of waiting to see where it goes.
There's an interesting documentary on Netflix currently on, I forget what it's called, but it's about session guitar players.
Okay.
It's worth a spin for anyone listening. Give it a look. They talk to a lot of session guitar players, and I think of it actually because of what we're talking about there. I'm imagining Andy Sneap on stage, and there's going to be a bunch of people there that are holding up signs saying "You're not Glenn." That's just expected. Well, thinking of this Netflix documentary, there's a naughty little lie that they put in there. They bring in Brad Gillis. So Brad took the gig when Randy Rhoads died, Ozzy's band. And he talks about in there, I got the call and I had a couple of days. Randy had just died and they wanted to carry on with the tour. So they got me out as fast as possible. And I still remember the signs that people used to hold up and saying that I wasn't Randy and shit like that. It's not strictly true. Naughty little Netflix documentary people. There was another guitar player, Bernie Tormé, filled in on that for 2 gigs, if memory serves me correctly. So it's an off-topic thing, but it bugged me, so I just thought I'd throw that out there. But aside from that, it's a good documentary. It's worth.
I'll give it a watch.
Worth
Do
watching.
you remember what it's called?
No.
We'll put it in the comments when we find out.
You'll find it if you look for it. Session guitar player thing. It's got some great footage with Nita Strauss is in it, talking about the Alice Cooper gig and Phil X, of course. It's just all the LA guys. There's a lot of cool stuff on there. It's an interesting one. Not really the session players that I'm into. Like my Brent Masons of the world, or my Larry Galtons.
Well, that's it. But just hearing these people's experience and how they got into it and their passion for it and the bands that they feel they gelled with and didn't, it's going to be an interesting.
Quite a lot of talk on there from Jason Hook, from Five Finger Death Punch. Is he Five Finger Death Punch's guitar player? He's done a lot of session stuff and playing with like Miley Cyrus and shit like that. And,
all right, fair enough.
Yeah, and now is
wonder why I don't know the guy.
One of the biggest, most successful metal bands on the scene today. So
somehow,
yeah, and
it
comes across as a really cool and interesting guy from everybody I know that knows him.
Oh no, fair play to them. I don't want to knock people for success, because if you're out there and you're working hard and you deserve it, regardless of whether people agree or disagree with your music taste or whether they like it or not. You've put the graft in. There are people who do like it. You've earned your way.
Yeah, fair enough.
So fair play to the guy.
So what do you guys think? Give us your comments on when you think a band ceases to be the band. Would you go and see Metallica if someone other than Lars Ulrich was on drums? Oh,
100 times.
Throw this out there. I have only seen Metallica once, and they didn't have Lars on drums.
Is that when he was ill and it was Joe Jordison?
He was ill and it was Joe Jordison. Download 2004, maybe.
You might be right. I don't remember.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, because St. Angus 2003, and it was on the St. Angus tour, and everyone was like, "Oh, I've got to go see Metallica, and they're going to play all that terrible St. Angus stuff." Well, thankfully, Joey doesn't know any St. Angus shite, so they just played most of Master of Puppets.
That'd have been incredible. I've never seen Metallica ever. I used to be a complete Metallica fanboy. Then I started listening to Megadeth and realised the true way. But that's not the point. But no, I've never ever seen them.
Yeah, where's the line? People, give us your feedback. Would you go see Metallica if they had someone other than Lars? Would you see Metallica if they had someone other than Kirk?
These are replaceable members without trying.
Would you go and see Metallica if they had someone other than James Hetfield?
No.
Yeah.
That's the line.
Yeah, so I guess the game is who is the spirit of a band. In Metallica's case, James Hetfield is probably the spirit.
That's quite a hard one, though, because apparently Lars wrote quite a lot of the songs either himself or with Hetfield. Yeah. So,
would you go and see Iron Maiden without Bruce?
There's a hard one, because everyone else is pretty much original. Bruce is actually the replacement for Paul Di'Anno.
Yeah. Would you go and see Iron Maiden without Steve Harris?
I don't think so.
Exactly. To me, Steve Harris he's the spirit of that band.
Mm-hmm. Even without Dave Murray or Yannick Gers, I don't think I would.
Yeah.
Or Adrian Smith. It's hard.
Yeah. So let us know. Give us your feedback. We always appreciate it.